Hello, my name is Lewis Parker, and this is episode 2 of Reddit Gets Drawn. Today we've got this lovely subject, and we're just going to get straight into it with the painting. This is a pretty good subject because the colours are really nice. There's some cool symmetry to play with, and kind of patterns. I think it will make a very interesting composition when we finish. I certainly think that some of the colour combinations and the details and some of the patterns, like at the front of the shirt and such, are going to really turn out quite well. So it'd be nice to kind of just let those influence the painting rather than actually copying the patterns pattern for pattern. We'll try and just suggest what's happening in it. So here we are with the sketch. I've cropped it in quite a bit because I don't feel that the information that would have been at the bottom will really be that important to the composition and to help the drawing out. We've got just the hints of the thirds of the face, so we'll know where to put them in. We're going to go in and try and avoid the glazing technique that we used last time and try a different one. I want to see if I can just go in solidly and get the colours that we want in there first try, full opacity, and just really attack it with some big bold colours and get the contrast in the areas where it's needed. Okay, so I feel like we've reached a point where all of the canvas now has colour on it, and we're even starting to get some of the smaller details in, which I've gotten in quite hastily, maybe even put in a bit too soon. So now it's a case of just getting all of our detail in and correcting our shapes to build that lightness. But really, still for the next stage, at least 10 or 15 minutes, it's just going to be getting every detail in, so everything's in there, and then we'll worry about the shapes of it, and then we'll worry about, making it all the perfect values and look nice. But just getting it all there on the canvas, throwing it together, is really the important bit, and it's almost the hardest bit because this is where you'll have the most doubts throwing it in, and it's where you're going to have to be the most critical to really understand what you're painting and decide what's going to go on there. So we've gotten through the hard bit, getting the canvas filled. Now what we want to do is just start detailing the whole thing and getting it absolutely spot on, lightness wise and value wise, so that we can get it looking nice, and then we'll add the finishing touches and details and we'll be done. Okay, so at this point we're nearly there. I've gone with a very abstract route of just suggesting most of the content that's in the picture, which I feel has actually quite complemented this. One of those where you zoom out and it looks quite accurate, and then as you zoom in you realise that a lot of the brushstrokes are quite messy and abstract, and a lot of it I've just completely picked colours and values that I feel are accurate, but the actual patterns and how I've painted them has been almost completely at random, as to just suggest that there is a pattern there and let people's brains fill it in. It's only really important that the values and somewhat the colours are there. So we've got most of the general gesture of it in, we've got the feel of it in, and the actual composition there at the moment. The only work that we could do now, seeing as we're pretty much at that 80% mark, is the extra 20%, which would just be the strong details and getting it exactly like the picture, which is really the boring stuff and the less interesting stuff. I feel that the area with better content is the area where you're just filling in the canvas and getting everything there, do you know what I mean? Getting the suggestions there, and then the rest of the work that you're putting on a picture is indeed just putting the detail in and seeing how polished you can make it. Okay then, I feel we've reached pretty much a point where I'm happy to finish up on this one. It's been a nice little sketch. It was about 1 hour and 10 minutes, somewhere just over 10 minutes. So the final notes on this one, it was quite good. It was quite fun to kind of work with the abstraction, especially down here, and really get it to be quite just random and very soup-like, if you know what I mean. Really fun working with the kind of composition that was in this one as well, and going straight in with the colours and getting things absolutely blocked out, and then worrying about the shapes later and adding in the detail later. We've ended up with quite a very random and abstract piece that's got quite a bit of texture to it, even if none of that texture was made for the brushes. Quite a lot of the brushwork just has that kind of random abstraction texture, which I'm quite happy with. If I really wanted it to develop this piece to its complete and whole, what I'd probably do is I'd get the detail to a lot higher standard and the lightness, and maybe even change the way the piece looks quite a bit, just to make it feel a lot more 3D, and kind of play with the lighting a little bit, and be a bit inventive there. But overall, I'm quite happy with where we've left off in the sketch. I really like the composition, and I think I'm ready to call it a day on this one. So I hope you enjoyed this and could probably gain something from it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.